Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Gnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatika Kritim Adaram Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe. Shubhodaya. Warm greetings to one and all present here on this auspicious occasion of virtual inaugural event of Pragnadeepa Learning Center. A good beginning is half success. On behalf of Pragnadeepa Learning Center, I, Sheila Anurup, working as HOD of Computer Science Department, extends a very warm welcome to our Chief Guest of Honor, Dr. S. Viswanath, Deputy Director and Chief Scientist, National Aerospace Laboratory, Bangalore, for the inaugural function of Pragnadeepa Learning Center. He is working towards connecting young minds to strive towards success and achievement. We are grateful to him for accepting our invitation and become a chief guest of today's event in spite of his busy schedule. We are delighted to welcome other distinguished guests, parents, relatives, and friends who has consented amidst the tight schedule to share every moment of this wonderful function with us. In today's celebration, our main heroes are our students. So I heartily welcome them also. Let us begin and unfold the various events awaiting. I hope you all benefit and enjoy the event. Come, let's channelize our mind and energy to create an auspicious aura. Let us start the event with an invocation song by Dr. Deepti Kiran, Professor in Community Medicine. Over to Deepti.
Thank you, Sheila. जय देव श्री गणपति राया जयकारक जय हारक ओंकारकाया जय देव श्री गणपति राया ಜಗದಂಬೆಯ ಮೈಮಣ್ಣಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೂರುತಿಯೇ ಮೃಗದರ ನೋಡಿದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಬೇರೆಯ ಆಕೃತಿಯೇ ಜಗದಂಬೆಯ ಮೈಮಣ್ಣಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೂರುತಿಯೇ ಮೃಗದರ ನೋಡಿದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಬೇರೆಯ ಆಕೃತಿಯೇ ಚಿಗುರಾಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ದಿನ ದಿನವೂ ಸ್ಮೃತಿಯೇ ಹಗಲಾಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನೆನಪೆ ಸುಳ್ಳಾಯಿತು ಧೃತಿಯೇ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಯ ಜಯಕಾರಕ ಜಯ ಹಾರಕ ಓಂಕಾರಕಾಯ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಯ ಗಣನಾಯಕ ಗುಣನಾಯಕ ಜನತ್ರಾಯಕ ಸಿರಿಯೇ ಗುಣವರ್ಧಕ ಬಲವರ್ಧಕ ಸುರಸ್ಪರ್ಶಕ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಗಣನಾಯಕ ಗುಣನಾಯಕ ಜನತ್ರಾಯಕ ಸಿರಿಯೇ ಗುಣವರ್ಧಕ ಬಲವರ್ಧಕ ಸುರಸ್ಪರ್ಶಕ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಅಣು ಅಣುವು ಗುಣರೇಳುವು ತೃಣಗಣವೆಂದರಿಯೇ ಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷಣವೂ ನಾ ಸಿದ್ಧನ್ ನಿನ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬೆರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಯ ಜಯಕಾರಕ ಜಯ ಹಾರಕ ಓಂಕಾರಕಾಯ ಜಯ ದೇವ ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಯ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you, Dr. Deepti Kiran, for leading us into a devotional mood. Elimination of darkness and ignorance. Illumination of the light of knowledge. To prove this, let us proceed towards the lighting of the lamp digitally. Over to Tejas.
या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीं अभयदां जाड्यान्धकारापहा हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदाम्
Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Pragnadeepa Learning Center helps to identify the goal in life, provides lot of opportunity to learn new things, acquire new knowledge, develop new skills, and enhance personal attributes in profound ways that will equip our life. Now, it's time to get started with the main objective of the program. A dream written down with a day becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dream come true. To begin with the objective, now I request our core team member Sri Manohara Nadik to address the gathering. Over to Manohar.
Thank you, Sheila. Ellargo namaskara. Good morning, everyone. So before we get into the details, right? Let's watch one interesting story. Please watch. It's a short story.
Once upon a time, a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race. Emerging as the undisputed champ, the rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we've all grown up with. But our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he'd lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So, he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story: fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he could beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story: first, identify your core competency, and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. The story still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the turtle till the riverbank. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they felt earlier. The moral of the story: it's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies, but unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. And that is the end of the story.
So, friends, like as we see, like in our days, like especially during 80s and 90s, we brought up this story narrative: slow and steady wins the race. Slowly, then it changed to fast and consistency helps one succeed, right? But moreover, these were in the context of competitive mindset. Competitive context happens when we operate out of boundaries. But with lots of changes that we see in the technology, in ecosystem that we are in, and competitive context is no more relevant. It is all about collaboration. Competition is relevant, of course, in games where one has to win and other has to lose, and wherever there is a very restrictions, their competition operates. But in real life scenario, it is the collaboration that is the key to succeed, both as an individual and group or a team. So it is about keep moving the goalposts as we have seen in the story, make it relevant, and at a different point in time, whatever is relevant, keep that goalpost, and then work towards reaching that goal in a collaborative way. And if you look from children or students' perspective, each child, right? Each child or student is unique. All of us know everyone is unique in this world, and especially when children and the student from perspective, everyone is unique. He or she will have a specific core strengths. It is our job as a parent or a teacher or a mentor to identify those core strengths and harness them to build core competency in the field they want to operate. So it's good that even like I have seen like last couple of years, government has taken some initiatives, some several steps moving in this direction by introducing new education policy. Specifically, we had to talk about NEP 2020, right? And in fact, our reliable sources from government body have indicated that it is getting implemented and it is rolling out in a phased manner. So here, what happens is like students can choose different subjects according to the core strengths, and they may want to enter either in work or research field, irrespective of the thing. So coming to the Pragnadeepa, so Pragnadeepa as a learning center is going to be aligned with new education policy and act as a catalyst to build and strengthen each student's core competency. So our framework as a Pragnadeepa Learning Center, our framework will be to teach concepts that are relevant at their respective levels, right from 6th standard to 6th standard onwards till 12th standard and even degree colleges. And post these students should be in a position to apply these concepts in their chosen field confidently. That's the more important thing. So, with this, core objective of our learning center is to prepare and motivate students for a rapidly changing world by instilling them critical thinking skills. They should be able to take decisions at different points in time wherever it is required. That is the core. So, decisive reasoning abilities, that's a core thing which everyone should develop from a global perspective because we are no more here local. And students should have success for today and be prepared for tomorrow. One and all, it is going to be like providing and welcoming supportive learning environment in which everyone is equal and every student's achievements are going to be celebrated from Pragnadeepa Learning Center. So now I request Mr. Tejas, Professor of Mathematics, who is a core member of Pragnadeepa Learning Center, to introduce our concepts, framework, and the app that we have developed for Pragnadeepa Learning Center. Tejas, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Manohar. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Tejas. First, to begin with, I would like to brief about the compositions of our Pragnadeepa Learning Center. So basically, we have an interactive live classes where we have a two-way communication between the teacher and students. So basically, it's not only teacher is teaching and the students are just listening. No, it's actually basically a two-way communication. We encourage the students to speak in our class. And we try to engage the students in our class. And we also provide assignments, which is actually a common thing that everyone we do. But the best part is that we try to give an assignments which helps the students to apply their learning in real life. Also, we provide topic level tests. Conceptual level understanding should be our main focus. So this is our main agenda of this Pragnadeepa Learning Center. We try to, rather than focusing concept, rather than solving more number of problems. We also provide doubt clearance sessions. Suppose say a student might miss a class, or he may raise a doubt in the class due to many reasons. He may not able to raise any questions, or he may get any doubts in the class. So due to many reasons like this, what we have done is we have a separate session which helps the students to clear their doubts. And also we provide parents-teacher interactions, which enables the parents to get apprised of students' progress. The best part is we also provide value-added sessions, which focus on improving students' personality development. We also have continuous performance mechanism. Apart from teaching evaluation, students' performance will be tracked continuously. So as everyone know that communication is the main aspect between the people. Here, we teachers will be happy if he or she witness a communication in the class. So basically, we communicate with the students in the live classes. Here we focus on concepts. We encourage the students to learn anything through concepts. Our teaching methodology is concept-based, wherein we try to teach the students to tackle a problem in different ways. Our Pragnadeepa app allows the students to raise their hands in between the classes, which makes the teacher to notice and address any query, which makes the class more dynamic. And we make sure that each and every child is addressed. Our live classes can be attended through any device like laptop, mobile, desktops, any devices. It's basically a user friendly. By default, the live classes will be recorded so that the students can revisit the class anytime, which is a great advantage if in case a student misses a class. We do provide the assignments. Assignments actually are a great way to apply individual thoughts. We do not support the traditional way of giving the assignments, which will just focus on writing the same textbook content matter. We focus on application where students learn the practical application of concepts. We provide the immediate assignment after each class, wherein a student can submit it through one click. Assignments will also be evaluated, and based on the results, the further course of action would be designed for each student. Coming to tests. Test will be conducted after completion of each topic. Every minute details of the performance of the child would be taken care of, and the same would be reported to the parents. So the unique features of our Pragnadeepa Learning Center is we provide a value-added sessions. Because apart from all this, a student needs some motivation and push, which improves their overall personality development. This also increases the self-confidence, takes out the inferiority complex, stage fear, and it inspires the students to achieve and give best in every aspect of life. So Pragnadeepa Learning Center will organize continuous value-added sessions conducted for all the students at various levels. Thank you, and I look forward for the support from each one of you to take this journey forward. Thank you, Ananda.
A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. So good and inspiring thought can spice up our day. Reading new thought in the morning works like a fuel which keeps us smiling and encouraging throughout the day. So thank you, Sri Manohar and Professor Tejas, for your motivational teamwork. I am profoundly delighted to introduce the honorary chief guest, Dr. S. Viswanath, Deputy Director and Chief Scientist, retired, National Aerospace Laboratory, Bangalore, for the day. Dr. S. Viswanath is an aerospace engineer by profession. He had a successful career in research and development for about 4 decades. He obtained his master's degree from IIT Madras and PhD in aeronautical engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. During his service as scientist at various levels at National Aerospace Laboratory, he contributed significantly to several R&D works in aerospace structures related to light combat aircraft, SARAS, and launch vehicles of ISRO like PSLV and GSLV, to name a few. After his retirement from NAL, he worked as a consultant cum mentor to major engineering service companies like Airbus, Boeing, and other aerospace industries. He has given several guest lectures in various universities and colleges within the country as well as abroad. Besides his professional achievement, Dr. S. Viswanath has served as a member of the advisory committee of the Ramakrishna Math Bangalore for 4 terms. He is a resource person in value education. Apart from this, he is a philanthropist and renders selfless services to the society. He has molded the life of students and served people with kindness. Now, we request the chief guest, Mr. Viswanath, to address the gathering and cast the light of his knowledge upon us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. At the outset, let me say my special thanks to Manohar. For the simple reason our acquaintance is very short, maybe a couple of weeks. One day he came over here for something. And let me start with a wonderful name you have coined for your venture. That is Pragnadeepa, right? And Pragnadeepa goes well with so much with the Tejas, who talked with just a few minutes back so nicely. Pragna, it is a wonderful word in our scriptures, consciousness. So deep is light of consciousness. It really goes a long way because we are not much talking about these words and these things in India. If you go back to even 10, 15 years back, courses are given in American universities on this, what is called as consciousness. Department like physics and some Indic studies, and they together come together, electrical engineering, all the department come together and study this concept of consciousness, human consciousness, where engineering, science, spirituality all come together. This is what education means. See, education, dimensions of education, if you look at it, starting from the physical, where boy or girl has to grow well. That means it calls for good food habits, exercise and other things. Next is mental training. Third is intellectual. And fourth one, of course, is the spiritual dimension, which we generally in the so-called spiritual and so-called secular setup, we can't talk of the spiritual dimension last one. Nevertheless, any education has to take care of all these four parameters. I'm very happy to see that you have one thing added in your, I don't call it a curriculum, in your way of conducting online classes, personality development and value added education, which nowadays is missing very much. As I go along, I will come to some of the points related to this. Finally, in the general, as Swami Vivekananda puts it, in two ways he puts it. One is education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. It's a wonderful statement. One can talk for hours on this subject. Manifestation of the perfection already in man. A similar definition he gives for what religion also. Manifestation of the divinity in man, which is already in man. But keeping apart the religious part, coming back to this is the education platform, manifestation, perfection in man. The best example could go to when Newton saw in falling apple, the gravitational principle. The question you ask, was the law of gravitation was in the apple or was it in Newton or in the sequence of falling? That is where all principles, whether it is in physics or any of the science branches, come out from within only. This our ancient riches discovered long time back. What all we talk today about scriptures in terms of Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and so on, and they're all nothing but the scientific research findings of great rishis. And we should have these things in the back of our mind in education, any educational curriculum. I understand NEP, that is new education policy. I had occasion to attend some meetings, seminars, has built in several aspects of this. This is one part. Okay, now when we say, and coming to the present day's digital way of communicating things, education, and whatnot, everything is going digital now. And if you look back, I belong to maybe a generation back or two generation back when our education system at the school level. Why school level? Even go to when I completed my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, we didn't have even a calculator with us. The days were based on what is called a slide rule. I don't know, today's engineering students also may not know what that slide rule is. Then came the calculators. And even when I did MTech at IIT Madras in 1973, there was no computer at IIT. Still, we had to do a lot of things in engineering. And then came the explosive thing called during 80s, early 80s, personal computers. Oh, it was something very great. It looked very great at the time. Now, if you just to give an example, when I did my MTech project work, when I was working for even to started my thesis work at Institute of Science and Aeronautics, the computer we had was, anyone today, school boy will laugh. It was in terms of kilobytes. IBM computer with 28 kilobytes. We had to solve equations of hundreds, numbers. So that is how the whole thing is, the computer development technology explosion, which now it has come on to communications. And all fields it has entered, including medical services. You name anything, any area, it is in your hands. A mobile, small mobile, the miniaturized mobile has, today we can talk in gigabytes. And it has the hardware devices of terabytes, say a small one, which you can carry everywhere. Like this, if you trace back the technology development on one side and how its application to the human and welfare. And for all these things, two streams we have to clearly look at is one is the development in science and technology and the education, the other part. Simply development cannot come without proper education. And if you go through the histories of development and as it keeps developing, just to give an example, more than 15 years back when I was in service, maybe 2002 or so, I came across a paper, how people look forward into future and also plan things. That one paper was the software scenario in the year 2025. I'm taking of year 2001 or 2. And 4 major companies and universities in America, Stanford, IBM, and 2 more universities, 1 more company and 2 more universities coming together. They projected. I have that paper with me even today. If I look back, in that paper, they refer to India and China's place in participation and in this digital revolution in 2020s. This is a great prediction, future prediction at that time. So we had to keep looking to the future, the young generation particularly, not being just satisfied with some of the devices which we use today. With this few background note, and now let me come to, you are venturing into a great task of educating young minds. See, success in any field, whether it is education, business, science and technology, industry, if a person has to grow and finally succeed at the end of his professional career, 3 factors get into that. You people who communicate this knowledge to the children should inculcate in them. Already I see something what you presented here, skills and things like that. I put it in the form of a triangle. If a triangle of success, let us call it. Obviously, all of the triangle has, for the time being, let us assume triangle is an equilateral triangle for simplicity. So the base of the triangle is all fundamentals which we learn in throughout from primary to up to graduation, post-graduation, whatever you learn, either in science, commerce, business, all that fundamental subjects in terms of theory, in terms of graphs, in terms of calculations, algorithms, put all that to them. You're an expert in that. You're a first ranker throughout. Second side of the triangle comes skills. Skills, it is skills, varieties of skills, not just communication skills. And skills can go from anyone to managerial skills, administrative skills, planning. Even skill is also required in kitchens. You need to understand how to skillfully you can do things. That's why in Bhagavad Gita it is said, skill in action is called yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. What a beautiful definition our ancestors had. You go back to the scriptures. Skill in action is called yoga, but not just your external yoga system. Many things like that. That is the second arm of the hand of the triangle. And third one is very, very, very important, which you should, when you are talking to students, whether online or offline, generally teachers do that, I know. The attitude. This goes a very, very long way in one's profession. And attitude, when you are working in a team, as a researcher, where you can afford to be a loner in that. Because when you do research, it could be an independent thought thinking process to come out with ideas and put them. But today's, any company, even in the research lab or industry, what is required is the right team spirit, which calls for the right attitude. And this triangle of success actually has been studied variously by very many universities, various factors in each one of that. Right from your personal, how one's personal image, how you deal with others in the team, etc. And you'll be surprised when I say in this triangle of three major topics, that means basics, skills, and the attitude. I don't know if I ask the group of people of say 50 here sitting, which one contributes to the success of a person? What percentage of it? Generally, say an equal triangle, so all the one third. But research studies shows 80 to 85% of the success, even including CEOs, team leaders, all that success is governed by the third side of the triangle, that attitude. We have the logic for this. We had maybe some other occasion. It needs a lot of preparation, presentation details. We'll not get into that. So keeping this triangle in mind, basics, fundas, skills, and third, attitudes. See, in online communication teaching, generally what happens is you are good in giving the basics and whatever may be the subject or all subjects put together. You may also, to some extent, you can try in the second part, the communication. But the third one is really at a loss in this online scheme. That's where the offline teaching hitherto existed helped a lot. We'll get into that when I list out. I have what is called as merits and demerits of online and offline teaching. Maybe I have too many points, but I'll take up only a couple of points. The time given is only 15-20 minutes for me to elaborate on this. Before I get into this, let me wish Manohar, Tejas and his team all the best in full success in your new venture, education. See, education is most fundamental things. As Swami Vivekananda put it, education is the, what the word he uses, and in fact, education is the one which is the solution for all the ills of this society. There is a particular word he uses. Let me come back to that. So education is very important, and I would call it it is a divine exercise. It is a purest ritual. to serve the society. Keeping that in mind, I hope your team will put in all the efforts to bring in the brightest students out of the whichever level, school level or college level. It is very important, whichever stream it could be in. It could be science, arts, language, or even the engineering and medicine also later. Now, let me come to just list out. Let us see, it is only for our own introspection. Can we do everything online? Or should we do everything offline? Or where the mix can take place for better solution? Looking at that, I have put some of the merit. I call it online education merit and demerits. In this, I've taken 4 stakeholders. Obviously, the student stands first in that. Then the teachers, second one. Third is the parents. And of course, the fourth one is the management. That is with respect to the school, teaching schools or colleges. Here in this case, the management is yourself. You have the role of teachers. You have the role of management. In between comes the parents, and of course, the student is at the center. Now, let us look at some of the points, several points. This with respect to these points have emerged when I discussed with my friends who are working in this area, as well as I keep reading some of the latest articles in journals. Important thing, this focus has come because of the recent pandemic situation, which we are all globally, we are all facing for the last 2 years now. And there are several human points, plus other related things. What I'm going to list out, maybe we don't have enough time to discuss each of the points. Only some salient points only I will touch upon. When we look at the online education merits first, in that to take the student view. In that student view, what we have, some of the students say, yes, it is a lot of advantage because more attention can be given when I sit in front of a laptop or a mobile listening to the teacher. That means concentration is better than in a school environment. This is what we have observed. That means it will be focused, self-paced, self-disciplined, self-motivated e-learning through assignments and tests, which generally schools pass on to the students. And students are happy. And students are happy in several other ways also, which they're all secondary things. And also they participate in automated quizzes, assignments, tests, and grading enable instant results. They can see the result. They submit the result assignment or a test paper. Immediately they have the test, even both the assessment and where they have made the mistakes, where are the places to improve, that they immediately get the results. And multiple approaches, articulated concepts and problem solving enable. You are focusing yourself in the so-called, what you call the concept-driven learning or concept-driven teaching. See, in engineering, we have got what is called as concept to design, design to prototype, prototype to product. CD, you can call it some, abbreviate that. Here also, if you keep those steps, concept to prototype. Prototype here means student becomes a prototype of understanding. And then design means how much is depth of understanding in the subject. Lastly, evaluate the design and see where he stands with respect to marking. Okay, then an important thing is, in addition to concepts, his capability to analyze and reasoning. You also need to analyze him through in terms of problem-solving capability. You take a simple example. If it is a mathematics subject, if you are teaching, let's say, right angle triangle, the c squared is equal to a square plus b square, etc. Its application in real life situation. Supposing I have, let's say, 10-story building. Just a boy stands outside in the ground floor. if some dimensions are given to him in terms of the height, etc., the distance where he stands, calculation of other sides. Physical concept application of this Pythagoras theorem. Similarly, there are various things you can keep quoting and thinking about it when you go to trigonometry or calculation and all those things. And the very important thing that online, from the student point of view, online teaching comes is teach once, learn many times by many people. When you are teaching here, classroom restriction goes off. It need not be 30, 40, could be hundreds. And whatever you teach is all get recorded, and student can revisit and revisit whenever he is even at home or when it traveling in a mobile. You can keep looking at it. You can contact the teacher, get the clarification. That is the best advantage of online teaching. No boundaries, global classes with all kinds, ages and races of students and teachers can come together. Even teachers also can sit and listen. When somebody is teaching, if the other teacher happens to be the same stream or some other subject, listen to that. And of course, there are various other what we can call as physical things like delivery of programs early in the morning or late in the evening, and multiple platforms, not necessarily a laptop or a pod or even our mobiles, and various levels of sophistication and complexity. Basics, intermediate, or advanced. The subject can be taught in 3 levels. And examinations can be individualistic and all around the year. Each student is with the teacher, teaching faculty. And flipped classroom ensure. That is another important class concept. Meaningful and quality time interactions between serious students and teachers. See, you can group the students such a way, okay, ordinary student. It is not to give a bias in dealing with the student. It is only to identify the skills and learning capability in a group of students. And if you can say upper cream of the students, which you are teaching about 100 students, if the 20 are there, how to inspire them to think beyond the classroom environment, beyond your syllabus, where the teachers can interact with them on a continuous basis. So this is flipped classroom environment. Then of course 24/7 one can give the online lab sessions. This is very important. How do you illustrate the lab environment? How do you simulate the lab environment in an online course? I will give some of the examples. When I take, for example, as many times as one wants without much cost, experiment can be repeated, lab experiment can be repeated with no cost. This, is a wonderful application in many of the engineering situations. As most of you know, any new car that comes, a new model comes on the road, or an aircraft comes for the
education from ancient to digital. Sri Vivekananda's quote, education eradicates evils of the society, and many examples of real world object and how it is contributing in the development of science and technology like simulation and modeling, artificial intelligence. Concept, analyze, evaluate, design, application. You enlighten us about the success, the necessary skill one has to acquire to become success. Quoting from Bhagavad Gita Shloka. You also focus on merits and demerits of online education and how it is going to face in this pandemic situation. How extracurricular activities also plays a vital role in students' life. It is truly an excellent opportunity for learning under your guidance and look forward for more in future. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable experience with us. Now, let us start with the next part of the program. It is a well-known proverb that action speaks louder than words. With a core member of Pragnadeepa Learning Center, like mentor Sri Rangaswamy S, the proverb seems to do justice. He started accountant by profession, having more than 25 years of corporate experience. Worked in several MNCs like GE, Volvo, Aditya Birla Group. Currently serving as a CEO of Indian MNC. He is having vast experience in different industries such as healthcare, textile, pharmaceutical, and software. He also works as a coach on career development and financial planning. He is an expert in different areas such as stock market analysis and MS Excel, currently serving as CEO of an Indian MNC. It's an honorable moment for our center to have your prestigious presence as mentor and guide in today's event. Sir, I request you to address the gathering on career development. Over to Rangaswamy sir.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಶೀಲಾ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಶೀಲಾ ಅವರು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಂಗೆ ನಾನು ರಂಗಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟು. 25 ವರ್ಷದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ CFO ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ MNC. ಸೊ ಮೇಜರ್ಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ career development of currently I am working on the people who are studying BCom and the people who are currently working in a corporate world with around 5 to 10 years of experience, and I am helping them to grow in their career, as well as for the BCom students to guide them in the career path as to what are the career opportunities which are available for them. And other than the career opportunities, there is one more thing which is very much importance in the current situation or the current time is financial literacy. ನಾವು ನೋಡುವಂಗೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಗೂ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಮೇ ಬಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ 20 years of their age, and then they are ready to start earning. But at the time when they complete their education, are they fully ready is the question, because the current education system which is introduced by British in the independence India. So I think with that system, whatever we have, it only creates people for the employment. Now ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹಾಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಈಗ whatever people have achieved in their life, if you see all the big names in the world, in India, most of the people have attained their knowledge, skills. Like I'll take the quote mentioned by Mr. Shrikantaya Viswanathan about the success triangle of success, wherein the basics we learn and the skills, and the next last thing is the attitude. So the second parameter, which is skill, which is normally which is acquired by the people after the graduation, which is at least true in my case. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ನಾವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂತ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ. But above that, whatever we have to achieve in our life, if I want to achieve something antandre, whatever is there, we have to only learn from there. So current situation in employment is people are not, or students are not given a particular area. It's only they are taught only in the subjects, and they only focus on marks. See, there is no communication skills which is taught to them. There is no leadership skills taught to them. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ 4-5 people, ಆರ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ವಾಟ್ he has. Even the knowledge he has got, he is not able to deliver that because he doesn't know how to talk in front of people. That skills are not taught in the schools and colleges. So that is a limitation we have in the current education system. Hope the new education policy brings upon and they bridge this gap and make the students aware, or maybe I think they get the students ready in this area. So that is what is my hope in the new education policy. So along with this employment in the current scenario after the education, currently if you can see, Bangalore has become the startup hub in India. So why it has become startup hub is because many of the people instead of going for jobs to utilize their knowledge and skills, they want to work upon their skills on their own, and they want to start their own business. So that is where the employment or the business opportunities are huge currently compared to around maybe 20-25 years back. So that is a major advantage when it comes to having a skill and the proper attitude to get into the business, and even to not only it is a earning potential, it is all overall development of the economy, development of India as such, and it is a development for everybody and employment opportunities. So business opportunities not only for the opportunity for the person who starts the business, but he is creating opportunities for many of the people. So that is a very, very important, considering Bangalore becoming the startup hub, wherein we can see a lot of things which are coming from Bangalore. And already it was a IT hub. Now it has become a startup hub. So it is very glad. We are very glad to see Bangalore becoming it is becoming known in the international map, to make sure that we are also getting into newer opportunities which we are exposed to. ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಓದು ಒಕ್ಕಾಲು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಓದು ಒಕ್ಕಾಲು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಈಸ್ 1/4 ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಚೀವ್. ಬಟ್ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು, ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಅರ್ನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್, definitely it gives you very good edge against the other people. So that is what we have to utilize and increase our knowledge and skills to make sure that we achieve something in our life. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅನ್ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ವ್ಯೂ, there is no competition for the right skills. If you have right skills and the right attitude, there is a very, very lack of that what you can say vacancy. There is a lot of vacancy for the people who have right skills and attitudes. People are there because ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 25 years of experience ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, I have interviewed almost more than 100 people for the jobs, and even I have interacted with more than around 250-300 people in my career. If I ask them, even after a person who has achieved or who has experience of more than 5 years or 10 years, if I ask them what is the fundamental, like in the BCom, you can say what is the journal entry, we say what is debit, what is credit. If I ask a person who has an experience of more than 5 years, what is the entry for this particular transaction, he is not able to tell that. So that means foundation is not very, very strong, and afterwards he or she has not looking into improving their skills or strengthening their foundation, the basics. So that is very, very important. That means there is no competition for the right skills. That is what I would like to mention here. If there are so many people who have got the education, who have got the experience, but there is a lack of right skills and attitude in the market. So if a person improves that in his skills and attitude, definitely he has a place, and there is no competition outside. I say that competition is only from the outside, not from the outside. It is only from the inside. That means competition ಯಾರದೇ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ, if we compete within ourselves, like whatever, I can be the best version today of my yesterday. So even if we are able to put our improvement skills on a day-to-day basis, and even 1% or even 0.01% improvement in our skills on a day-to-day basis, you can imagine what is the increment or improvement what we can have in a 1 year's time. So there is no competition outside, it is only inside. So we have to become better and better on a day-to-day basis. Then only it will help us to make sure that we get a proper place in this world. Otherwise, for a normal and average person, there is no place. So we always have to strive upon to increase our skill, and what is the value we bring upon to our customers or maybe to our employers. So only then, when we give a value addition to the customers, from where we are earning or from where we are getting our financial strength, so that is where we will be able to strive upon, and we will be able to give our value addition. Definitely we will be able to be competitive in the market. Otherwise, competition is always there. So normally in the education, what will happen is, when we went through the education, we have been given only subjects. We have been only taught about subjects, maths, science, socials, or even accounts, taxation, all those things. Those are all basic. Those things are fine. But at the same time, at least in my education, I have not seen the people, or I have not seen where people can guide us to read very good books, to get more skills and more opportunities, how we can achieve it. If I want to name a few, it is like in Kannada, we have one book called Badukalu Kaliri. I don't know how many of the people in Karnataka have read that book. Badukalu Kaliri, ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ, Badukalu Kaliri is one book which is the world, you can say world of knowledge. Once a person reads that book, his opinion about himself and the world changes. So that's very, very important for us to read the books. And even the other books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So these are the books which we can which can enlighten us to get into the newer world after our education. So which is very, very important for us to get into the mainstream of the life after the education, and those knowledge and the skills we have to get after our graduation as well. So that is where our career development career path or career development will come into picture, wherein a person will understand what exactly I can think of after my graduation, what is my strengths. Manohar also, and I wish all the best to the Pragnadeepa, and we can give a very good value addition to the students who are approaching us for their advancement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational talk about the career development. Different occupation available. You enlighten us about the foundation of education, the skill to be acquired to become successful, economically independent. Thank you, sir, for your motivational talk by giving formulas with examples to save money and lead happy retired life. Gave more information about Bangalore Startup Hub. Oneself has to create the opportunity for them. Right skill with right attitude required for the career. One has to focus on strength, identify the passion, and harness the strength to choose career. With your fresh thoughts, optimistic approaches, we are sure that your talk has ignited young minds towards the right direction in their career path. Thank you, sir. Pragnadeepa Learning Center equips students with the power of knowledge and propels them with endless wisdom to become better citizens of the future. On that note, I would like to introduce about the upcoming courses in Pragnadeepa Learning Center. The first and the foremost, mathematics, quick revision for 8th, 9th and 1st PU students. It will be 3 weeks course, 4 hours per week and start from 10 Feb 2022. CET 2022 preparation for 2nd PU students. It will start immediately after the board exam. It is going to be 3 to 4 weeks course. Career mentoring program for commerce graduate, postgraduate. It will be 8 weeks course, 4 hours per week and starts from 5th March 2022. The fourth one, course on accountancy for commerce students who are in PU as well as in degree. It will be 4 weeks course, 8 hours per week and start from first week of March 2022. In order to harness oneself, the personality development sessions for undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate and working professional. It will be 4 weeks course, 6 hours per week and start from first week of March 2022. IIT Foundation course for class 8, 9, 10. It will be 8 weeks course, 2 hours per week and starts from 3rd 8-month whisper. Feeling thankfulness and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift and not giving it. So it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver vote of thanks. On behalf of Pragnadeepa Learning Center, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. S. Viswanath. Today's event became a grand success with his inspiring words. Thank you, sir, for giving your precious time and consenting to be the chief guest. We are looking forward to having you again as chief guest in future also. I thank all the parents for their presence. Your participation and suggestion will always help us. I thank all the students for participating and making this event grand success. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the wholeheartedly all the mentors, organizing team and a technical team of Pragnadeepa Learning Center who are backbone of our events. Their contribution is tremendous and applauded. Once again, thank you one and all. I hope everyone benefits from this program and looks forward your support in future also. Good day.